Alright viewers, here I am in the good old tent here. I'm reading my Bible. I got my free Bible here. Show you real fast here. This is the Bible I got from the Bible and Literature Missionary Foundation in Shelbyville, Tennessee. So you can see the title page here. So that's what I'm reading from. It's just a paper, vinyl-ish paper type cover, so it's just kind of a giveaway Bible, really. This is what you would give out to like new converts or people on the street that you're trying to share the gospel with, and they need a Bible. So, but I'm reading it. Let me see. I am in the final chapter here in the book of 2 Chronicles. I read from Genesis, and I'm in chapter 36 here, the book of 2 Chronicles here, the historical books of the Old Testament. And so I'm here in Middle Tennessee and just trying to get a job here. I've been really applying. I've been really out there hustling, trying to get a job, applying places. I went to some interviews this past week, and let's see what happens. My wife had a stroke. Her life is hanging by a thread. It's not real good for her, you know. She has some kind of brain damage too, like from the stroke, you know, like hemorrhaging in the brain she had, you know, because she had a CAT scan done, and so it doesn't look real good for her, you know. But here I am in the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 36. This is after the death of King Josiah. He was the last of the good kings of Judah. And so it picks up here, chapter 36. It says, "Then the people of the land took Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and made him king in his father's stead in Jerusalem. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. And the king of Egypt put him down at Jerusalem, and condemned the land in 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. And the king of Egypt made Eliakim, his brother, king over Judah and Jerusalem, and turned his name to Jehoiakim. And Necho took Jehoahaz, his brother, and carried him to Egypt." It says Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord his God. Against him came up Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and bound him in fetters to carry him to Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar also carried up the vessels of the house of the Lord to Babylon, and put them in his temple at Babylon. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim, and his abominations which he did, and that which was found in him, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. And Jehoiakim, his son, reigned in his stead. It says Jehoiakim was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. So let me stop here at this is verse 8 here, verse 9 I mean. So if we go back to 2 Kings, that's a parallel account. Let's take a look at that real fast. Back to 2 Kings. It says this. This would be chapter 24, verse 8, 2 Kings. It says, Jehoiakim was 18 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. It says, and his mother's name was Nehushta, the daughter of Elnathan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father had done. It says, at that time the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother and his servants, and his princes, and his officers, and the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign. Wow. Wait a minute. So that'd be the 8th year of the king of Babylon's reign. Because Jehoiakim reigned only three months in, and according to 2nd Chronicles there, 3 months in. How many? 3 months in. Let's take a look again. I'm just doing some comparative reading. I like to compare the two accounts, the parallel accounts, I guess you would call them. So according to 2nd Chronicles, this is verse 9, chapter 36. It says, Jehoiakim was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem. So he reigned a total of 3 months and 10 days, according to 2nd Chronicles chapter 36, verse 9. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. Then it says, and when the year was expired, it says, King Nebuchadnezzar sent and brought him to Babylon with the goodly vessels of the house of the Lord, and made Zedekiah his brother king over Judah in Jerusalem. So, let's see, go back to 2 Kings 24. It says, now, this is what tells us about Jehoiakim. That would be the fall of Jehoiakim. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him. And the Lord sent against him bands of the Chaldees, and bands of the Syrians, and bands of the Moabites, and bands of the children of Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servants the prophets. That surely at the commandment of the Lord came this upon Judah, to remove them out of his sight, for the sins of Manasseh, according to all that he did, and also for the innocent blood that he shed. Talk about Manasseh. For he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. It says, now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Jehoiakim slept with his fathers, and Jehoiakim his son reigned in his stead. And verse 7 says, and the king of Egypt came not again any more out of his land, for the king of Babylon had taken from the river of Egypt unto the river Euphrates all that pertained to the king of Egypt. So, but there we see, the 2nd Chronicle gives a little bit more information, like some additional information that's not in 2nd Kings there. So let's go back to this chapter 36 here in the 2nd Chronicles. It says, verse 11 says, Zedekiah, this would be the last king of Judah here. Zedekiah was one and 20 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord his God, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet, speaking from the mouth of the Lord. So we learn that Jeremiah the prophet was around at this time prophesying. And he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who had made him swear by God. But he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from turning unto the Lord God of Israel. Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And the Lord God of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes, and that word betimes means early, in sinning, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they mocked the messengers of God, and despised his words, and misused his prophets, until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, till there was no remedy. Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon young man or maiden, old man or him that stooped for age. He gave them all into his hand. And all the vessels of the house of God, great and small, and the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king, and of his princes, all these he brought to Babylon. And they burnt the house of God, so the temple was burnt here. But this would be Solomon's temple. And they burnt the house of God, and break down the wall of Jerusalem. So keep that in mind when I get into the book of Nehemiah there. And break down the wall of Jerusalem, and burnt all the palaces thereof with fire, and destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof. And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia, to fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath, to fulfill 70 years. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, All the kingdoms of the earth hath the Lord God of heaven given me, and he hath charged me to build him an house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? The Lord his God be with him, and let him go up. So it ends right there, then it picks up with Ezra there. And I believe that both First and Second Chronicles was both books were written by Ezra, because it was written most likely after the captivity, when the Jewish people came back to the land of Israel. So, all right, so it's a little sample of the Bible here. It's not, it's a basic Bible. It's not, it's something you would give away to like a convert or somebody on the street. You're trying to share the gospel with. It's not fancy. It's like a paperish, vinyl type cover, I guess. That's the only way I could describe it. But if this was the only Bible I had, I would hang on to this for dear life, people, believe me. So as long as I can read it. Looks like it's glued together here. I see hot glue right there. Kind of glued the pages. So it's for what I paid. I didn't pay anything for it. It was a gift that was given to me, courtesy of the Bible and Literature Missionary Foundation in Shelbyville, Tennessee. It's a Bible printing ministry. So I can't complain about it. The typeface is a little bit fuzzy. I would say it's a little on the fuzzy side. So, but it's still readable. It's just somewhat fuzzy. But it's okay. It's still readable. So.